Look. Is it actually streaming right now? What the frick is that? I don't care. Your channel. Oh look, we're good. Okay, your channel. Oh look, we're good. Okay, your channel. Actually, you know, I think I have like a donation thing. Oh look, we're good. Okay, your channel. Actually, you know, I think I have like a donation thing. Oh look, we're good. Okay, your channel. No, actually, you know, I think okay. I have like a donation thing. Luka Doncic. Okay, your channel. No, actually, you know, I think okay. I'm just gonna do Mavs for Luka Doncic. Gosh, I have to listen to myself. That's so annoying. Boo, I hate that game.
Magnificent through the first 3 games of this series. So Zubac at center, Maxi Kleber is the other center. Both teams struggling to shoot early, just 2 for 9 combined. Leonard, the high percentage shot, and he thought there was contact afterwards.
See the action, they understand what you're trying to do. It makes it tougher, like you said, when you're random and they don't know.
This is annoying. I already watched the entire game. I watched it live, but this is kind of I mean, I'm just reviewing it for the channel. It's probably going to end up being like a live stream. I'll just have to, it's going to become an official.
What you're trying to accomplish.
Doncic, nice move, and shoots it over Zubac.
We were talking about it. I really like Shaman. Tough, competes, can shoot the basketball, takes pride on the defensive end. A guy you certainly can trust.
And that.
Clippers by 8. We're midway through the first. Nice feed inside.
Yes. The thing is, too, like, Tim Hardaway Jr. had an amazing game. And again and again, Landry Shamet was not able to guard him. And they were just talking about his defense, but I think it's kind of inconsistent. It's not that great. And it's a big reason why the game was lost.
And Tim Hardaway able to finish. Paul George.
Yeah, Paul George. Whew, talk about rough games. I think he had 7, 8 points the entire game. And, yeah, 8 points because he had an and one. But, in the end, you know, Paul George he's got the playoff curse. Like, the Thunder were a great team. I mean, Steven Adams, Russell Westbrook, Paul George. One of them was an MVP, one of them was an MVP candidate. And he just choked in the playoffs. That's why he's never been able to do big things. Because he's not consistent in the playoffs. I mean, he just scored 8 points this game. I mean, he had a good first game against the Mavs, and then it's all just been, it hasn't been great afterwards. I mean, Luka Doncic just destroyed him. You know, Luka had a triple-double. I respect him. I think he's a great player. But Paul George, I think he needs to figure out a way to just play normally. He needs to think about it like it's a, regular season game. And until he can do that, it's not really a contest. Because, I mean, he can't play off. He's a huge offensive part of the Clippers team, And if he can't show up in the playoffs, the Clippers won't be making it this far. They won't be making it into the next round if he can't show up in these next 2 games. So, yeah.
And George able to knock it down.
Wanted with more minutes.
Because when Patrick Beverley comes back, as Doncic gets deep in the paint, be out of the rotation.
Definitely. His defense, him and Kawhi, I think, this is like a huge defensive team. This team has great defensive capabilities. But Patrick Beverley went out with injury. Kawhi his passing ability was just not great, third quarter, I remember, he had 3 turnovers on inbound plays. And that's just something they gotta fix. They gotta fix that, because if they're gonna play, if they're gonna move on and hopefully play like the Jazz, their defense is going to absolutely destroy them, because they're going to pick off their passes on the inbound, and that it's going to hurt them a lot. So, yeah.
Jackson from the elbow. That's good. Reggie Jackson 3 for 3 now, Mark, off the bench. Seth Curry stripped from behind, lost the handle. Poor George with the defense. Alley-up goes to Michael Green. And defense leads to offense for the Clippers. They're up 13.
And I think this lineup on the floor can score. Their problem and challenge will be defensively for me.
Everybody's had a problem defensively with Lou Williams. Has scored almost as much as the starters.
Yeah, Lou Williams, he came in as a 6th man, and he dropped the most points on this team. It might have been him or Kawhi, but I know they both dropped over 30. At least over, Lou dropped over 35. Kawhi, I think, was 32. All I know is that Luka dropped over 40 and had a triple-double. But, yeah, we'll just...
By this man, Lou Williams throws it up. Pass deflected. Zubac's able to hold on. Bang!
Yeah, the first quarter they had was absolutely amazing. They destroyed on the Mavs. They kept doing it. And for a good portion of the second quarter, they also did. But, towards the end of the second quarter, the Mavs, and they didn't take it anymore. They said no, that's not going to roll with us. And they kind of, fought back. And the third quarter was not good at all. The Clippers only scored 15 points. I think the Mavs actually had close to 40 points in that quarter. And, that was a big part in why they lost, because they gave up a 21-point lead and never kind of really got back in their groove. So,
banks it in, and a foul. There he is, professional scorer Lou Williams throws it up, it goes, and the foul. And a chance for a 3-point play. He's got 11 points in 8 minutes. Lou Williams makes his drive, off 1 foot, rattles it in.
But crafty, gets you off balance, and even on that move.
As we approach the midway point of the second, Doncic with a rebound. Trying to draw the foul on Green. Continues all the way, coast to coast, off the glass is good. Burke lines up a 3. That's good. Trey Burke once again with his 7th rebound. He's got 6 assists.
I respect his ability as a player. I think he's amazing for his age. I just don't... When he's playing the Clippers, I don't like him. It's like LeBron James or Michael Jordan. They're people that you root for. You like them. But when they go against your team, you want your team to win. You don't care. You just want your team to win. And that's how it is with me and Doncic. That's why I kind of got a little excited when I heard about his ankle. I was out camping, so I couldn't watch the game. and I heard about his ankle injury, and I'm like, okay, well, this means that the Clippers could win. And then I heard about Porzingis' knee, and I'm like, this means that the Clippers will win. And then Luka comes in, drops a triple-double. Clippers gave up a lead. And, it's disappointing.
Hasn't scored a heck of a lot. Drives, gets inside, right on cue, count it, and the foul.
It's a great sequence of Dallas scrambling.
Burke, little fake, pull up, baseline jumper is good. Trey Burke, 13 points, and it's a 7-point game. An undermanned Mavericks team trying to battle without their second leading scorer. Doncic, and the foul. Again, using his body to shield the defender, taking the contact from the line.
But, what else was I going to say? I think, Doncic, great game. But I think the Clippers are going to adjust their game plan tomorrow. On Tuesday. And, hopefully, Paul George can, get it in his head. He needs to score. He needs to just, there's no fans around him. There's no fans. There's cardboard cutouts and giant cameras, giant computers that have people that are having Zoom meetings. But, Paul George has nothing to be afraid of. It's playoffs. He's already choking. You can't get worse than that. All you can when you hit rock bottom, the only way you can go is up. And he just needs to get that in his head. He can't screw up now. He can't. Because it's this close in the series. He did it with the Thunder. He did it with the Pacers. And at this point, you can't request any more trades. Because it's your fault when you can't make it past the first round of the playoffs. It's your fault when you can't show up and put more than 10 points in. Because at that point, it comes down to Paul George. He wasn't putting down the points that his team needed. And that's, he's a starter. For Christ's sake, the sixth man who plays the same position as him, quadrupled his points. And I'm sorry, but Paul George is not a good playoff player. Kawhi is clutch in the playoffs. That is what he's known for. That is why he wins Finals MVP. And if he could do it with the Raptors, I think he can do it with the Clippers. Because he had some help with the Raptors, he has more help with the Clippers than he did there. But he was playing in the Eastern Conference, so there's not a lot of competition. And then you have Porzingis and Doncic coming together, creating this dynamic duo, this scoring, rebounding, passing team that just relied on each other again and again. And Kawhi's, this has been a pretty good season for him passing-wise compared to his others. He's 5 assists. He's been averaging that, which is a new career high for him. But, yeah. Also,
Doncic once again getting in the paint.
It's your bad. You don't have to tell us.
Leonard draws a foul. Shot's good and one. Oh, Kawhi Leonard. Leonard misses. Long rebound. Trey Burke, good hustle, outrun Lou Williams to get to it. Burke drives, reverse layup is good. Sweet move from Trey.
And right there, Kawhi wasn't defending anyone, and I think he should have taken the defensive initiative to double team him on the drive. And plays like that you could stop them from scoring. It's that simple. It's just common sense a lot of times.
Trey Burke, 15 points in this one.
Yes!
Kleber the finish.
Maxi Kleber throwing it.
I think Kawhi was focused on something else that game. You know, he had his heads in the clouds. He let defenders get past him. He didn't pass the ball well. He gave up a lot of turnovers. It was, he started off well in the first quarter, and then he hit a rough patch in the second and third, and then he came back in the fourth, but, fortunately, he couldn't lead his team to the victory.
Ewing basically rested it on his hand and then turned it back over, so I benefited.
Finney Smith connects on a three. That's his second three-pointer. 5 on the 24. Oh, nice crossover. Burke to the basket, and it's good. Trey Burke once again dazzling.
Easy laying.
A former lottery pick with the Utah Jazz who wound up having to go down to the G League. He said it was a very humbling experience. Oh, nice Euro step from Doncic. Pass finds its way to...
Frustrated because, the Clippers had a 21-point lead, and they'd given it up. With their starters. And Paul George, if he could have scored more, it might have run smoothly. It might not be a 2-2 series. The Clippers could be close to eliminating the Mavericks because they were one game away. But instead, it's even closer now. It's way closer, and that's going to make it hard for them. Unfortunately, I don't think Porzingis will be returning. He hurt his knee. He might come back. I haven't seen how serious it is, but hopefully he will be returning. But in later games, because that would make it interesting. The Clippers were still able to beat the Mavericks when they had Porzingis, but you just got to get in their head. I think the Clippers can do it though. I feel very confident. Yeah, in this game, this game was stupid. I placed $50 on bets because I didn't think Doncic was going to play. And even if he did play, he had an ankle injury. Yeah, if you can only see my fingers. Ankle. I'm air quoting them. Even if he did come back with an ankle injury, you shouldn't be able to, drop a triple-double with 40 points without the second star of the team. So, yeah. Let's keep
Hardaway drives, reverse layup is good, and the Mavericks retake the lead.
It's a bad play by Luka that time.
On the steal, Doncic takes it away from Paul George, drives inside, fake, shot, banks it home.
In situations like these, I don't think it was, the lack of, I don't think it was, how good Luka's defense was. I think, Paul George just wasn't paying attention. He's got to get his head in the game, I get it, it's a playoff game, it's intimidating, but, you got people, they want to see you win. They don't want to see you lose. You got all these people relying on you, but that's the exact reason why you got to try.
Mavericks are getting blown out in the second quarter, down by 21. No Porzingis, more. Janovic throws it down.
Yeah, and Boban is a monster, man. This dude is crazy. 7'3", 7'4". Man, you definitely have one of the most dominant backcourts. Front courts in the league with Luka, if he wants to play small forward that day. Luka, Boban, and Kristaps. You move Tim Hardaway Jr. to shooting guard, and then you do whatever the frick you want with Seth Curry. But, this team's got a good lineup. It's got a good lineup, but, when the Clippers get Patrick Beverley back, it's going to be over. No question about it.
Another assist, and that's number 2. A shot from Williams. How did that go in?
Off the backboard. That's when you're...
Lou Williams. What a shot from Williams. How did that go in?
Off the backboard. That's when you're living right. I think with his skill, his strength, that running start is just too easy for him.
Lou Williams, this time the scoop layup banks it home. He's got 20 points.
And I'm going to help off Kid Gilchrist.
Doncic again, sneaks inside, finds a way, finds the hole, and banks it in. It's been a boost off the bench once again. Doncic drive, falling away, up and in. Luka Doncic.
Also, I think if they were going to pick up a point guard, I think, a more reliable option would be like, there were some good players that you could pick up. Obviously they don't have a chance in the draft. They don't. They definitely do not. But they're probably going to try and pick up a point guard. Patrick Beverley is old. He's old. He played for the Rockets for a while. He's been playing for the Clippers for a while. But I do think, I kind of thought they were going to move Kawhi in and move Kawhi to power forward and Paul George to small forward. That would have worked. And then give Lou Williams his own starting spot. But point guard wise, I think they could have picked up someone, this season instead of Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson is not my ideal choice. I think Jeremy Lin is a free agent, but I don't want to say J.R. Smith because that would probably screw things up. But Deion Waiters is pretty good, and he's been doing pretty good for the Lakers. So he was actually a pivotal part in their bubble win against the Clippers. So
dazzling once again, and the lead is back to 7.
Wade Jr. and then Kleber does a good job running in transition.
Lou Williams, he's been a scoring machine as well. 22 points. He's 8 of 12 from the field. Burke against Reggie Jackson. Back up top, Seth Curry. Nice fake from Curry. Throws it up, banks it home.
Yeah, Seth Curry he's been this machine. He's like, he says, I'm not my brother. I'm better than my brother. He's out to prove himself. Because every time someone hears the name Curry, they think Steph Curry. He says, well, there's other reasons. There's other people. There's Seth Curry. He's been balling out. Like, he's been a pretty big role for the Mavs. He's more than a shooter. And arguably, I think he's a better shooter than his brother. The shooting percentages show that. And, he also can drive to the paint. He's good in the paint. He's a good shooter from other than 3. And, that's what I look for in a shooting guard. An all-around scorer who can shoot the ball pretty well.
The foul! Big bucket after big bucket. Rick's trying to tie the series at 2 games apiece. Seth Curry off the dribble. Gets into the paint, pulls back, falling away, nails it again. Marcus Morris drives, throws it up, shot is good. And that's his first points of the game.
Yeah, he had 5 points total. He had that 3 in overtime that gave them the lead, that 1-point lead that got stolen by Doncic. And then he had that. So, starting power forward only scored 5 points. Starting shooting guard only scored 8 points. If the starters cannot put up the points that they need to, bench them. And, Doc Rivers is a nice coach. He's a good guy. You can tell. But I think he needs to be a little more hands-on. That's kind of what, that's what fans want in a coach. They want a coach who can, give them championships. And coaches who can give them championships are coaches who have, seen a championship winning team. Steve Kerr was so successful. The Golden State Warriors were so successful with Steve Kerr because he had won 3 championships himself. Because he knew what a winning team looked like, and he knew how a winning team operated. Now, Doc Rivers, on the other hand, he's been coaching the Clippers for years. And they used to be the laughing stock of the NBA. They couldn't play at all. You know, they used to be terrible. But, you know, I mean, it's tough. Let's get back.
Doncic on the drive, falls back, shot is short, gets his own rebound, the put back, he banks it.
And the rebounding. I get if Boban rebounded over you, but it's Luka Doncic, shooting guard. I mean, he's pretty tall for his position, but I think he could have done a better job rebounding. The Clippers could have done a better job rebounding, easily.
At home, but the Clippers control.
But now they're making him isolate versus attack a big who's dropped back as Williams gets to the baseline and finishes.
And Rick Carlisle calls timeout. Jackson out of control. Doncic stripped and stolen by Lou Williams, and he banks home the follow. Doncic.
And Reggie Jackson, I remember there was 1-3 open over in, the bottom. Over in the bottom, like you're running down, over in the bottom right. And he missed it. It was a terrible miss. Hit the backboard. He didn't hit the backboard. Hit the rim. He banged up and got stuck between the shot clock and the backboard. And, missing those shots. During the third quarter, they missed a lot of threes. They missed a lot of shots. And, that's going to be a reason that you lose games.
Doncic thought he was fouled. Doncic pulls back, three-pointer. Bang! Luka Doncic from downtown, the lead back up to 6. Lou Williams is on Doncic. Long three-pointer. Puts it in! Luka Doncic from way downtown! And the lead is back up to...
It frustrated me so much. So much. Because I knew that if they just put Leonard on him, you can switch the position. Paul George could guard Tim Hardaway. It's easy. Just switch the defensive, who guards who.
7 back, puts up another 3. Long rebound deflected. Reggie Jackson trying to save it. He does to Leonard. Leonard sets, fires, bang! Kawhi Leonard from downtown. We still have a couple of timeouts remaining. Dallas has one. Both teams in the penalty. Leonard drives on Kleber. Jump shot is good.
Also, I think if you watch the whole game, you know what I mean when I say that someone was paying the refs. Someone was paying the refs. I don't know who. Maybe it was Mark Cuban. I don't even know. But the Mavs got a lot of calls. And then there were a lot of calls that should have been made for the Clippers. There was this Luka Doncic on Montreal Harrell one. It was an obvious charge. But they didn't call it. And then it was 2 points for Doncic. So it wasn't good.
Once again, that mid-rebound and a quick timeout. And that mid-range so lethal for Kawhi Leonard. 6 seconds to go.
Oh, yeah, here we are. Lou Williams tied it up with free throws. They had a bonus. They had 3 shots. Made the first 2. And the second one, he could have won them the game. He could have won them the game. It wouldn't have mattered because Doncic wouldn't have made no shot. It wouldn't have mattered. They would have had the shot clock. And it wouldn't have gone into overtime because they would have just wasted the ball like they did here.
Leonard on a pull-up jumper. Won't go. Rebound and a quick timeout.
Guy who can jet it to the basket. So Doncic, against all this switching, doesn't have to try to make every play. Because right now, to me, He's overholding.
He played 41 of the 48 minutes. Leonard gets inside, turnaround jumper's good. Another 30-point game for Kawhi Leonard, who's averaging 33 a game in this series.
Just getting too much mid-range space.
Tim Hardaway misses the three. Kleba had it, lost it, but Dorian Smith has it. Trey Burke for three, puts it in. Trey Burke once again, he's got 23. What a performance from Trey Burke. Dallas back up by one. Lou Williams quickly counted and one. Finney Smith throws it back up top. Kleba now back to Doncic. Gets in the paint, drives it more, steps back and banks it home to tie it again.
I like this matchup about Luka. Could use that strength.
Spins on Jackson, layup, it's good. 40-point triple-double, and the Mavericks are up 2. Into the hands of Kawhi Leonard. Kid Gilchrist is on him. Makes his move, gets into the paint, stops, kicks it out. Morris, a corner three, puts it in! Marcus Morris from downtown. And the Clippers take a 1-point lead. Timeout, Dallas. Finney Smith to inbound. Back to Doncic. Doncic pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good!
Now, I know that they had planned to foul. It was a smart decision. But I think if they waited just a second longer, Doncic wasn't going to shoot it. Luka wasn't going to shoot it. I mean, it was so close. He was tripping. And, they just decided to foul. 3.7 seconds left. Let it go, and when he tries to go up, just foul. Foul before he can get the shot off. And then, when you got 1 second left, he doesn't have the time to, screw up Reggie Jackson. He can't mess up the defense with him. He can't mess with him. He can't do all that fancy stuff he did. And
good! Doncic wins the game at the buzzer! Let's go!
Here's how to take your restaurant online with Shopify. First.
So yeah, I mean, not really anything else I can do, but, thanks for watching the stream. If you did, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on those notifications and check out when I post a fire new video. So thanks for watching, and as always, keep your stick